Hi, I'm Tim Clark with Gasville USA. Today I'd like to show you this very rare 1967 Camaro RS SS. Now this is a real documented RS SS with original numbers matching MS code 295 horsepower 350 engine. It also has the Muncie close ratio 4-speed manual transmission, 12-bolt posi rear end with 331 gears, factory cold air conditioning, factory tilt steering, factory AM/FM push button radio with front and rear speakers that still works, factory full SS gauges, factory center console, original window sticker, original protecto plate, original owner's manual, and a copy of the original title. Along with these documents is a 1967 Kansas newspaper that was found behind the rear seat. This is a factory highly optioned real RS SS, and it is documented by title and written statement of having only 52,000 original miles. This Camaro was purchased new from Maxwell Chevrolet in Kansas and spent most of its life in Southern California and Phoenix, Arizona. According to records, there have only been 2 previous owners. The car was described to me by the previous owner as an extremely well-maintained, non-restored car with original body panels. I was told there was one repaint about 15 years ago using the original Granada Gold code paint. According to the window sticker, this car originally had the 1967 Chevrolet mag-style wheel covers, not rally wheels. I have found a set of used mag wheel covers for sale, but they were in poor condition, so I didn't buy them. There might be a nice set out there, but I just haven't found them. This Camaro also has the correct deluxe black interior with a very rare fold-down rear seat. The rear seat is very easy to fold down, and of course, it has seat belts as well. There's an interesting story regarding the front seats. Prior to me buying this Camaro, the seller told me that he spent $3,000 on the front seats. He went on to explain that when he bought the Camaro from the original owner, the front seats had headrests like a second or third generation Camaro. So he assumed that the original seats were already gone. So I found a pair of very nice 1967 Camaro Deluxe bucket seats and had them professionally restored and installed. He tells me all of this before I buy the car. So I buy the car, then later I decode the cowl tag again. I noticed the interior code of 765Y. I then research and find out that the Y is for the very rare optional bucket seats with headrests. Then I look at the window sticker, and sure enough, the headrest option is listed there too. So I contact the previous owner, and he tells me that he still has the bucket seats that he removed from the car, but he assures me they are incorrect because they have headrests. Several times I've asked him to send me a couple of pictures of the seats, and he always says he will, but I have never received them. Possibly he is correct and the seats are from a newer Camaro. Or possibly he has the original, very rare 67 Camaro bucket seats with a factory headrest. During this video, we're going to take a detailed look at all of the following. We will start by doing an extensive walk around, then the engine compartment, the interior, and the trunk. We'll take a look at the door alignments, door locks, and the window regulators. Then we'll start the engine and hear it run and demonstrate the air conditioning. After that, we'll check out the instrument panel and the dash. Then we'll move under the car and take a good look at the under chassis. After all that, we'll finish up with a test drive. So with all of this, let's get started. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interior, the engine compartment, and the trunk. So you can see it's got the factory deluxe interior. It's got the factory tilt steering. We'll go over the instrument panel in another video, but it's got the full SS gauges, air conditioning, factory AM, FM, radio, etc., etc. Interior is just beautiful. You'll notice it's got a fold-down rear seat, and that's from the factory, and that's extremely rare. And if you're wondering how to convert it to a seat, all you do is just lift up, and you've got your rear seat with seat belts. And you want a little bit cleaner look for a car show or whatever. I'm going to put something else back here. Just fold it down, and there you go. We'll just continue to walk around. This is the factory numbers matching MS code 350, and according to the specs, this is a 295 horse 350 engine, MS code. The serial number on the engine block does match the body VIN. You'll notice it still has the factory air conditioning. Never been hot rodded, which is nice. It has been converted to 134, and it does blow cold air. If the weather improves around here, we'll go for a test drive. I can show you how nice it drives. But for the next week, it looks like we got rain every day. Of course, I'm not going to drive it in the rain. Much too nice for that. Still has the stock intake manifold, stock exhaust manifolds, the stock carburetor. It's a very original engine. Look at the interior a little bit more. Door panels are beautiful. Kind of an interesting story on these seats. If you were to decode the cowl tag, you'll see that this car left the factory with extremely rare bucket seats with the headrests. And obviously these seats do not have headrests. And I think I know where those very rare seats might be. When I bought this car, I did not know that the car was supposed to have the very rare bucket seats. And the owner, the second owner who I bought it from, told me that when he had the car, it had the wrong seats. He said they were like 1976 or whatever bucket seats, so he spent $3,000 on these matching deluxe seats, which it's supposed to have, and had them professionally recovered, new bunds and everything. Then I find out, the code that is supposed to have the ultra rare bucket seats with headrest. So I contacted him, and yeah, he still had the seats, and he was going to send me pictures, and he never has. So there's a chance that those ultra rare seats might be available. I can't promise that, but I do have a lead on them. Again, this just folds up. You got your bucket or your rear seat, and fold down. Also, it does have the rare factory AM FM radio, which works. I'll demonstrate in a little while. And it has the very cool rear speaker from the factory, which works. And the fader works for the front and rear. Hopefully you can see all the courtesy lights work just fine. Take a look at the trunk. Got a beautiful trunk. Got a little bag for the bumper jack, which is in there. Got the spare tire. Trunk and quarter panels look very nice. I want to show you something else pretty interesting. For people that read codes, you'll see that these, I was told, are original quarter panels, and you'll see the codes right here and right over here. Just a beautiful car. Now I want to show you two hairline scratches that are, both of them are very, very tiny, but they're there. One is on the trunk lid, right here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a hairline scratch right on the end of my fingertip. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's there. And then there's one in the front, in the stripe, and it'll be easier to see. It is right here. Right there, there's a hairline scratch. That can probably be professionally touched up. I just wanted to let you know that it's there. Other than that, I have not seen any bubbles anywhere of any kind of rust corrosion, anything like that. We can take a look around typical problem areas. Quarter panels, just really nice. Bottom of the doors are also very nice. Let's take a look at the door alignments, door locks, and windows. You notice the doors just snap shut. No rattles. Very nice. Door locks. This time I'll lock it with the key. And unlock. Wing window. Very nice. Now this rear quarter window has a little bit of a problem. I don't know if the rollers need lubricated or what, but it sticks. Now I have had it up and down many times, but I don't make a habit of it. It goes down all right, but you can see it's not going in the correct direction. So I don't use it very much. Again, the doors just snap shut. No rattles. Very nice and tight. So, door's locked. Unlocked. Door's locked. And unlocked. Wing window. Very nice. And the rear window. Let's take a look at the dash and instrument panel for the 67 Camaro. I'm going to start left and work right. So first thing I do is turn the key on. Here's the wipers. There's low and high. Back to low and park. I've already demonstrated the exterior lighting on a different video, but we can get the indicator lights here for the turn signals. So there's left and right, and the tilt steering, which I just love. This is factory, it's not aftermarket. Horn works great. Let's see, I've never tried the lighter, so we'll see if that gets hot. I don't know if it will or not. Moving on, it's got the factory AM FM radio with front and rear speaker from the factory with a fader for front and left and treble and bass. So that's pretty cool. Now what I've noticed is that it takes a while for it to warm up like an old radio, and we are in a steel building, so the reception's not going to be really good. But I'll go ahead and turn it on. Oh, you know what? This popped out. Look at there, nice and red. That's pretty cool. Well, you can probably hear some static. So, reception not very good in here with inside the steel building. And you just slide the AM and FM back and forth. Alright, I've already demonstrated the air conditioner on another video, but I'll go ahead and do it again. Actually, you can see that the tack gauge works nice. And gauges down here for the battery, oil pressure, and gas, temperature. And turn air conditioner on. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Well, I'll get that in just a minute. Let's see here. What else? I think that's about it. The dash pad is just beautiful. And, of course, the shifter. Very nice. Just a very, very nice dash and instrument panel. All right, let's take a look at the under chassis of this 1967 Camaro. Now, what I've been told is that this is not a restored car, but a very well maintained car. And I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but according to the previous owner, the second owner, he said that this is a one-time repaint on the car, and it was 15 years ago, and of course it was the correct Granada gold paint. So I don't think I mentioned that earlier. So let's go ahead and take a look at the under chassis of this very original car. Again, what I've been told is this is a well-maintained car, not necessarily a restored car. Here you got your 12-bolt rear end. Looks like these spring perches have been replaced recently. Take a look at the inner fenders, which look really, really nice. And this, I believe, is weld on the exhaust for a hanger that you're seeing. Now, I'm sure there's Camaro experts out there that know better than me, but I'm looking at this, and if I remember right, the early Super Sports had a single traction bar. And I'm just wondering if that is a mount for that. Of course, if so, the traction bar is gone, no longer there. But I'm thinking because it's on this side, but not on the driver's side, it might just be for that single traction bar that was on the 67 Super Sports. That'd be interesting to find out. I'm assuming the brakes have been rebuilt because I see new emergency brake cable on both sides. Right here as well. And I see one new brake fluid line right here. Let's just continue on. Now, what I was told, and which looks to be correct, is that this is the original floor and very nice and solid. I've been looking and I cannot find any weld seams. And if you were to look at the seat belt mounts right here, they look to be original. At least it looks that way to me. So I'm assuming that this floor is original and in very, very nice shape. They may be the original body bushings. I don't know. They look like they're in good shape, but they don't look brand new either. And I'm curious as to what this white X is. I saw that earlier. So moving forward, frame rails look really nice and solid. Just haven't seen any issues at all. I was told that this is the original Muncie 4-speed transmission. I have not looked for a serial number yet. If I remember right, it's supposed to be right in this area. So that might be something that I do. Yeah, I see a code there, but I don't see a serial number. I might check on that if I get time. Front suspension. This center link may have been replaced because it looks a little bit cleaner and newer than the tie rod ends, but I'm not sure. I think it's kind of cool how it still has the 67 oil filter canister. I believe 67 was the last year for those. You got a shot from the front. Nothing exotic, nothing fancy, just a very nice, well-maintained car. Well, we caught a break in the weather today. It's going to be nice at least for the next few hours. So I'm going to take the 67 Camaro RS SS out for a test drive. Before we go, I'll just kind of go over the basics one more time. It's got the factory tilt steering, which I really like. The full SS gauges. The factory air conditioning, which blows cold. The factory AM/FM radio, which still works. Muncie 4-speed transmission with the factory Muncie shifter. Now, I actually prefer the Hurst Competition Plus shifters, but because this is original, I wouldn't change it. I just like the feel of the Hurst shifters a little bit more than the Muncie, but the Muncie shifter is fine, and it might take me just a little bit to acclimate. Of course, it's the exact same shift pattern, just a little bit different feel. With that, let's just go ahead and get started. Oh, and the emergency brake does work, which is a really good asset for a standard transmission. Well, I just had a really enjoyable test drive. What a fun car to drive. The 350 engine is a MS code, 295 horse, numbers matching, 350 engine. Plenty of power. Now, it's not been hot rodded, so it's not a race car, but for a stock car, it's a lot of fun to drive. Muncie 4-speed transmission, shifted beautifully. Earlier, I mentioned a little bit about the Muncie shifter. You know, I just didn't have any issues with it. I said earlier that I'm a little bit of a fan of the Hurst Competition Plus shifters. It took me about 5 seconds to get used to the shift feel of this, and I was fine. Let's see, the brakes were nice and straight. It did not pull one way or the other. It braked nice and straight. It's actually cruising around 65 miles an hour with a very strong side wind, and the car did not drift at all. The steering is actually manual steering, not power steering. But, and I'm kind of a fan of power steering because I'm old. But you know what? The standard steering on this car was just fine with me. I steered, you know, with just one hand, going in out of parking lots, no problem. I personally wouldn't spend the money to change it to power steering if I was to keep this for myself, and I'm even a fan of power steering. And of course, being numbers matching, it'd be nice to keep it original anyway. Let's see what else. I like the tilt steering. The gauges all worked fine. The tachometer at around 65 miles an hour was about 2,900 RPM. The cancel cam for the signal lights worked great. The oil pressure, even at idling, was either straight up, which is good, or even a little bit on the high side, which is even better. The cooling temperature was either straight up or just a little bit on the cool side, which is great. I filled up the gas tank. It was around a half a tank or 3/4, and I filled it up, and it's sitting on full, so the gas gauge works. The battery gauge works great, no problem. I don't know about the clock. I don't know if the clock works or not. The AM/FM radio works. I was not able to find really a station that I liked, so I didn't listen to it. Horn works. Let's see. The car was nice and quiet as far as no squeaks and rattles, things like that. Going over railroad tracks, you know, bumps, no problem. No obscure sounds, anything like that. I don't really know what else to tell you. I've driven the car around 60 or 80 miles, somewhere around there, and it just performs real nice. I appreciate you taking time to watch this video, and feel free to reach out to me, either voice or text at 479-636-7111, or check out my website at gasvillusa.com.